of competence. Because when the two go together, it is only danger that will be flashing everywhere. If you have problem with competence and you are honest, even in law you have honest mistakes, you understand? It's excusable. But when you, out of lack of competence, you were trying to benefit from the system, you plunder the entire thing. So what you have is that many people in the corridors of power now, many of them, we have quite a very, nice people, a lot of nice people in the system, but many of them don't have authority. So you now come to the issue of mediocrity and sycophancy. The ones that are very qualified turn into sycophants. The ones that are incompetent become mediocres and more violent, so that they are the ones that are able to muzzle themselves through. Then, if you are the one that has the capacity to take decisions, and you are surrounded by this kind, a coterie of this kind of characters, you become an elephant with a foot of clay. You can't do anything.
But are we not approaching this issue with cynicism? Because I'm still trying to find out where exactly you stand on this particular issue. Do you think that this is a good step in the right direction? I mean, this report came out a while ago.
My point is very, very clear. I said we are all agreed that even as at yesterday, we ought to have brought down the cost of governance.
Yes.
We ought to have started demonstrating that capacity.
Okay.
I welcome this idea once it is very well thought through, because you cannot just cut costs and spike progress. Okay? Even in management, the profit is also in cost reduction. It's not just only in increasing your revenue. Because if you're increasing your revenue and you are frittering the profit away, there will be no growth. The point we are making here is that all these recommendations that have been made is just one part of the equation. There are a lot, there's a bloated civil service, bloated political aides and operators that we are carrying as bad loads.
So a lot more needs to be done. A lot
more surgical operation. That, dramatic. I'm not pronouncing it the way the British man. I'm just putting it in an Igbonized fashion of pronunciation, if you like, to show you the urgency and the imperative of doing it. There is need to commence now and demonstrate the capacity to do that, because if we begin to do those partial changes, somebody or a group of people who have been benefiting from the old system, like the lady who just left here, would say some people who organize demonstration, and the most ceremonious group is the organized group. The Nigerian masses are not organized because the hunger is capturing them like cricket in their various locations. But those who are benefiting from the system have money to reach out to the media. They have money to influence even the poor people to do their own bidding. And that's why they are most ceremonious, most vocal.
Yeah, but if you look at, the move, are you not also worried about unemployment? I mean, for instance, those people who are going to lose their jobs as a result of scrapping NECO and a PEP. I'm always saying what is going to happen to them?
First and foremost, let me give you an instance. When NITEL was working, many people who owned phone lines then will tell you that they must have given right to a NITEL staff with his car carrying ladder. I don't know whether you get it. Carrying ladder is not your business, but you are paying. Now, when NITEL collapsed, for whatever reason, some of them had already made more money than they needed in their lifetime because of the way they were mismanaging the system. The system will always find a way to level up. And who told you that we will not make more employment if the system adjusts well? You see, poverty is being hammered out in this country because of bad, not necessarily bad policies, bad management of our economy. And jobs, there is what we call the autopilot. When a pilot gets to a particular cruising level, it doesn't have to be looking, something happens, and the plane is moving. The same thing, when you create a job, a level of job begin to create themselves. If, for example, you get this electricity right, you will not imagine the monumental progress we can make in the issue of unemployment. And mark you again, when we're talking about the educational system, there are many unemployed graduates who are unemployable. In the sense that the type of job they are looking to, forward to, they can't get it because they lack the capacity to execute on them. Even if you employ the Pt.2 principle, they don't have the skills because they spent almost all their time in cultism. They used guns to muzzle the lecturer who felt, after all, I'm not going to be forced to employ these idiots. I would rather not waste my life. You say, what do you want? You say, okay, take.
You know, looking at some of these,
that's the kind of system we have.
Mr. Nnaji, look at some of these systems, or rather agencies.
Yes.
Look at NAPEP, for instance. Marcus as well, she always remembers the
that was designed to
tricycle.
Reduce poverty.
Well, they came up with a tricycle.
That agency created more poverty. Okay. Now, you see, you cannot reduce graduates to driving
tricycle.
Which, in India, that was what they used to go to farm. The villagers used it to go to farm and carry their farm tools and things like that. Now here it is celebrated.
They use it in the cities. They use it in the major cities in India.
Well, even if they use it in the major cities, do you see executives riding it? It's for the masses. So if it is extrapolated from the farm to the city, those who ordinarily should have been trekking are using it. But here it is celebrated.
Dr. Nnaji, the point I'm trying to raise here is, well, NAPEP to be scrapped to replace...
It didn't perform.
To be replaced with National Agency for Job Creation and Employment.
Let me tell you, Agency for... Sorry, Suleiman. You see, we are used to grammar. There's nothing wrong in grammar because it is through grammar that jobs are done. It's through the instrumentality of language. That's how business is done. But in the Nigerian parlance, grammar means that you are just talking. Like you talked about NDE. We knew when NDE was created, the impact it made. That is no longer the NDE we know today. And that's why NDE will be there. And you'll be talking about another agency to reduce poverty by creating employment. The first thing would have been to either scrap NDE or give it teeth. You see, the problem we have in this country is, like we were talking about quota system in the educational system. Federal character and quota system are the same. There is no character in the Federal Character Commission. If you look at even the way things are, dispersed, it's not working. Because when you insist that you must be in this position, because there's something that you have seen that will come out of it, not something you can put in to make, if you insist on 2 balls of akara for the family, instead of working very hard to bring more beans and bake more of this akara so that everybody will eat to stupor and go and work, tirelessly. You insist on that 2 bole or whatever, and you kill yourself on that. You don't make progress. Nobody is making any input. Everybody struggle. When you look at the newspapers and the media, all they are saying, my area is marginalized. That is a very lazy input in the system. It shows that we are no longer cerebral. The cerebral ones are emasculated.
What's the similarities now? Shopee, I'm trying to look at the application of Shopee and relate it to what is happening in with NDE and this new one. I have to look at it, National Agency for Job Creation and Employment. What's the relationship? Because now the application of the Shopee program has it that some youth are being given handouts, a minimum of 10,000 naira.
No, you see, Suleiman, I am happy that you are bringing these agencies. The Agency for Job Creation is what it is. But the question is, which job? It is creating job for the people that are employed to run that agency. The job for the boys. Like somebody was saying, expect a miracle. There was a crusade. Expect a miracle. And I was driving past. The person was saying, there may be. I said, there will be miracle there. And he said, why? I said, the miracle is the pastor. Because here he was an unemployed guy. Everybody is there contributing money. That's the miracle. He's transformed from that is ravaging poverty